guys, be sure to check out the Shapeways marketplace for RC car parts. They've got everything you've seen on my Sand Scorcher all the way up to the scale electrical sockets that we put in the workshop. What's going on there, YouTube? Back with the Sand Scorcher. It's been a little while, but I teamed up with Shapeways again, and we've got a scale engine here. It's from Night Customs. He's got several different variants of this motor for the different Tamiya platforms. And this is the newer version 2, and there's less pieces to the actual block. The version 1 was, I think, 3-piece block with the scale accessories that went on it, and this is just a 1-piece block with the heads and everything. Just a different design, updated, and got the Stinger style exhaust, and I believe he has options for exhaust on it as well. But just another video in the series here of working with Shapeways to bring some more scale goodness to the shop. This is what was missing on this thing. That engine, even in white, that stinger sticking up in those pipes, it's going to look awesome. So in this video, I've got a few other things that I want to do to this bug while we're here. So I've got the engine exhaust. We have some scale accessories that go on it. Alright, so Shapeways offers lots of different printing methods. Some are very expensive. They can print in metal and all kinds of wild, crazy things. And some are simple, just a little bit more expensive. And this Night Customs engine, it's the exhaust and the block are printed in your standard nice, smooth, white, nylon, flexible finish. But the scale detail parts here, the belt and pulleys, the coil, and the distributor, they are printed in a ultra-fine frosted, I just looked it up and I forgot, frosted ultra detail finish. So they kind of have a translucency to them, but they are super, super smooth. And I know you try to print bigger stuff with that. I think I did one of the 5-window bodies, which is already a $200 print. I just did it to see what it would cost to print in the ultra fine detail, and it was like $500 or $600. But for little stuff like this, it gives you a really nice finish. It's a completely different feel. It's not as flexible, but it is a lot more detailed. So that's one of the things we get to experiment with in this video. Also, I've got a windshield. We're going to cut that down, and we're going to install windshield wipers, which I have the factory parts tree here. And we're going to make a dirty, filthy window with wiper marks on it. All the rest of the windows are mesh, so we're just going to do the windshield only. It's going to take some fancy trimming to get that to fit in because of the way that the metal mesh is mounted. But also, I picked these up on eBay. These are the factory rear torsion bars. If you remember this build, the chassis is all aftermarket. The front and rear cages are aftermarket. And none of the factory electronic stuff would work in, and the suspension had been converted to spring inside the shock, and the torsion bars were trimmed off. So I'm going to try to put torsion bars back on it. Those were fairly inexpensive. I think it was around $10-12 at most. I don't remember exactly. I've had them a little while. But yeah, so we got a lot to do. And I think the first step is to get started painting this 3D parts and letting them dry so we can do some other stuff while we wait. Alright, so here it is all mocked up. I've just kind of got everything loosely pressed together. Everything fits together great. It's an excellent design. And the finish, even on the white parts, feels smoother than normal. The valve covers and the big shroud in the back, everything just excellent finish. I'm looking at trying to find inspiration here. If that will focus. Looking at old Volkswagen engines online. It's very hard to find original looking engines just to try to get an idea of what was colored what. Now again, this has to match the build. It's not going to be shiny and clean. It's going to be rusty and grungy, which is the look we're going for. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a black base coat instead of doing primer and stuff. The finish on everything is smooth enough that it doesn't really need any body work. So I think I'm going to hit it all with black first, and then we'll start looking at accent stuff and different ways of doing different techniques on it, because I can't find any good pictures. Everything's all shiny and redone or junkyard, and I can't find anything kind of in between. Google's failed me. Because it was all just black. There wasn't anything fancy. Maybe a odd colored coil or something. The exhaust is going to be silver and rusty a little bit. So we've got that covered. Belts and pulleys and stuff, you know, it's pretty basic. So I was just trying to see if there was a certain color for like valve covers and things like that. And you're going to be able to kind of see them on the way this body is, being the Baja cut. It's got a little more exposed in the back end. Alright guys, got the paint drying on the engine. Now I'm going to look at the windshield. I've got to trim it pretty close to the A-pillar to be able to get it in there. We really need to have it in the body to line up where the wipers mount to the body and where the marks will be on the window. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that and trim all that down. I'm going to leave this one mounting screw on top, and I can leave all of this along the edge, but I'm going to have to trim down the A-pillars pretty tight. And we'll put it in the body and start looking at where our marks need to be. I got the windshield cut down, and it'll mount in the top with that one hole. I've got the wipers painted and the glue drying on them. While I was waiting on them to dry, I went ahead and painted the window edges, the rubbers, just a flat black with a paint pen, and kind of wiped them. I did all the windows all the way around. I don't want to move it right now because I'm afraid the wipers will fall off, but just needed a little bit of extra depth in there. I didn't want it to look perfect or clean, because nothing on the car is perfect or clean. So I think it came out pretty good. It's not even, it's not perfect. So yeah, once those dry, we'll bolt the glass in and start marking it as to where our wiper marks will be. So, got the windshield in and done. I probably went a little heavier on the spray on the windshield than I meant to. I did this once on film and I failed. My cutouts for my wipers were horrible looking. So I went ahead and mounted the wipers first, and then based it off of where they were at. I kind of eyeballed it the first go round and they didn't line up right. So yeah, I think it fits though. Like I said, it's a little more tan than I was hoping. I was hoping to get a little more dark in there, but one of my brown colors I was going to use didn't have the cap on it anymore, and it was clogged. So yeah, with the window edges painted black, I think it really pops. So yeah, it's all good and dry. I just missed it. It was three colors. It was they're like a army camouflage paint. It was a camouflage brownish tan, a khaki tan, and a OD green. And I just stood back about 3 feet and misted it in the direction of the windshield. And like I said, that tan, it was a little more well shaken up than the others, so it was a little bit stronger than I expected. But it works. It fits the look, and it works right now because I don't want to really see inside of it, since I don't have any interior or anything yet. Yeah. I got that tip from GCM Racing's channel. If you haven't seen their stuff, their scale talk and stuff like that, it's a good resource. So yeah, I'm gonna get the engine parts in here and we'll start looking at what's next for those. So the motor needed another coat. Had to flip everything over and kind of hit it on the back, and has lots of little nooks and crannies, lots of detail. So I was trying to get a good base coat in all of that. So in the meantime, we'll start looking at these torsion bars. Now, the original chassis has that big tub that goes in the center, and that kind of holds the torsion bars down. They slide in the A-arms back here and run up to here and over, and there's something up here to hold it in place. Now this set comes with a piece of brass tubing to slide them together. I'm not exactly sure how this all fits, so I'm going to have to get my instructions out and see how it's supposed to be and see how we can make it work on this chassis. The way it attaches at the back is pretty simple. There's not really much holding it in. I think I can probably pull this out with some needle nose, what's left of it. And it runs through this structure here. And, oh, I see, there's a Allen head lock nut right in there, or a little, yeah. So yeah, we can pull those out, and then we'll figure out how to attach them on the front side. Guys, it took me a little bit of fighting to get those out, but looking at the new ones, they can go in either way. If you put them in like this is going to, this piece of brass that the ends fit into is angled. So it fits down into the stock chassis, and it's going to give you a lot of lift. So I'm thinking, if I put it in this way, which the control arm is slotted in the back all the way across, so you can angle this up or down, and then mount this brass piece like this. That way it's angled up. Then maybe we can have this thing lowered, but I'm thinking it's going to be too low. I'm afraid it really is. Looking at it now, that's probably where we'd end up, which would give us not enough suspension travel. So we're going to go back stock. It took me, the little way this goes together is wild. I didn't assemble this kit, so I'm not familiar with it, which is kind of frustrating. I like to know how things work, so but now we're learning. So I'm gonna do it factory way. So this one will be on this side, I think. So we'll see. I'm gonna put it together and see what happens. All right, guys. So got it all in. The original tub in here kind of holds it down up here, and right now that would make the rear stick up even further. So right now it's got some positive camber, pretty good positive camber going on, while my front is still a lot softer and a lot better height. But I looked, there's some, you see these holes here. I was looking at making a bracket to kind of hold it down. But I'm going to try it without it first. I think it's going to work just fine because the battery's going to sit right on top of this. And it's going to keep it pretty even. And it's just strapped to the frame. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. Excuse me. So that's it with no weight in the back, no motor. Ride height will be just a bit of positive camber. I'm hoping once we get a battery and everything, it'll settle down some. So my engine, the second coat should be dry. Time to start looking at that. Alright guys, so I'm still waiting on paint to dry on the engine. I painted it with my Modern Masters metallic paint, iron paint, after the black coat. And we're just doing some rust on some of the detail parts. So I think I've got the torsion bars in, I've got the windshield in. I need to do something about these front and rear bumpers, or cages, or whatever, the tube stuff that's on this aftermarket chassis. It just doesn't look quite right, all shiny aluminum. So I haven't decided yet if I'm just going to paint it, or I'm going to go ahead and do like the iron paint again. I think since the body is all rust, real rust, I think I should just paint it black and weather it, so it gives a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the front and rear off, and I'm going to hit them with some black paint, flat black, and then we can wait on that to dry and go from there. Alright guys, everything's dried overnight, and ready to start putting it back together. This came out perfect. I didn't know that the Vallejo, or sorry, the AK Rust Streaks kind of eats into the chrome paint. I used just the what is it, Rust-Oleum metallic finish chrome paint, and that stuff always kind of eats into it, and man, it just dulled that chrome down, and it really looked good. I didn't wipe that off of there. I put it on there and it just kind of started smearing in with the chrome, and I just left it alone. My bumpers look alright. I mean, it's a nice change. They're not necessarily rusty, they just look dirty. But I think the darker color will definitely go with things better. If we can keep it. It's still a little bit wet. It's dried for dang hours here. The engine block, pretty happy with. The little silver accents kind of stand out. The real rust, I'm happy with on the valve covers and the shroud. So we'll start putting everything back together. Alright, so it's ready to go on. I had to paint a little bit of the transmission because it is exposed through the engine. I just painted it a flat black so it doesn't stand out quite so noticeably. This thing looks awesome. It looks like it only is held on with one screw on this side. It kind of snaps around, and then this is the screw. I've already taken it out down there. So let's see how it goes here. Fits up and boom, just locks right around it. Alright guys, there it is. The back end sets up a little bit too high. I'm hoping those torsion bars kind of loosen up after driving it. You can see the windshield, the black trim around it really pops, but the best part, boom. You can't see as much of it as I was hoping. I was really hoping you could see that more of that fan shroud in there, but it is mostly covered. But you can see the block and the valve covers and that exhaust, and it all barely fit in that aftermarket rear bumper. It was very, very snug. Now the motor mounts to the transmission with one screw, and it kind of made it set out on the passenger side a little bit, but once you get the cage and everything on, it all holds it right up against it, and everything jives right. I'm really hoping those torsion bars loosen up, because it is just crazy. You can push them down, but it won't stay. Yeah, that'd be alright. So man, this thing that engine looks awesome. I'm so happy with how that came out. Alright guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I've got the slideshow here at the end, so you can see some more shots of it, better detail. It's hard to do it on video, so I figured still shots would be easier. But if you're interested in any of these 3D printed items, check out the Shapeways marketplace. There's all kinds of stuff available for this Sand Scorcher from all different kinds of builders or designers. The engine's from Night Customs. I think the wheels and interior stuff are Night Customs. The racks on the side are Junkyard Stance. There's just a lot of great designers, a lot of cool stuff that you can't find anywhere else. So be sure to check out the link in the video description. And again, a big thanks to Shapeways for partnering with me on, I guess, this build, we call it, because everything we've done so far has pretty much been, with the exception of the scale garage items, pretty much been the Sand Scorcher. It's really coming along pretty cool. I don't know what's next for it. Let me know what y'all think should be the next thing on the list. There's really not much else to do on the outside. maybe some lights. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and hopefully we can get this thing out and run it soon and soften those torsion bars up a bit. But I appreciate you watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.